Ko Tawhiuau te maunga. Ko Rangitaiki te awa. Ko Rangipo te wehenga o te Tuna. Ko Ngati Manawa te iwi. Ngati Manawa are the kaitiaki of Tawhiuau the mountain and Rangitaiki the river. Rangipo is a significant place to my people on the Rangitaiki river. It is the place where my tupuna would farewell the eels as they return to sea to spawn.
Kia ora. I'm here to talk about the tunas that are depicted on our tipuna whare here, Apahapa i Taketake. The way they've been shown on the whare is they're ready to migrate. The eels, the eyes change, the mouths change, the whole form of the tuna changes when they're ready to migrate to Rangiriri. That's where our old people said that the eels go to have their young. Now, when that sort of happened, the eels would go down to a place at Rangipo, where our old people would farewell them with karakia and tangi, and that happened about now, February, March, April, any time where we get a fresh, they call it, or a bit of a flood, then the eels would start getting ready to go. Now, in terms of why they're here in this whare is that our people relied on the eel as a source of protein, as we never had much meat here or birds, so the tuna was Ngati Manawa's main source of food.
An important part about the tuna is that we used it to trade among iwi. My dad, who lived here in Ngati Awa, and Ngati Manawa was actually Ngati Awa as well. So every time we went down there to huis, we would take tuna, because it was a luxury and it identified us as Ngati Manawa. And we would trade off for things like whitebait, and we didn't make it an official arrangement like, but you would go there with your koha, and they would koha back to you something of delicacy from their area. And for us, it was like whitebait, kuku, and I know that the kuia over in Wairaka, who were our kuia, they used to have access to mutton bird from out of the islands, and so those were things that we used to swap for, if you like. We took our tuna and our wild pork and our venison, those that they weren't able to access. So we would take and we would koha to them, and they would koha back to us.
Okay, you see on wide. It's on your left hand file. Tina will tune. Chase. Kia ora. Thank you, Bill. Hi.
Haringa.
Haringa. Kia ora. Hini ngā mai. Hai.
Kuku tauhi.
Kia ora.
Ngā mahanga.
Hai.
Miripara.
Kia ora.
Raipono.
Hai. Hai.
Te mai ni.
Kia ora.
O te muripara nei he taniwha. He taniwha e noho i reo te awa o Rangitaiki. I raruma, i runga mai te piriti, a whakawhiti mai rā koutou. Kei reira te tahirua. I noho ai te taniwha nei. He tuna te taniwha nei. Kore ke painga o te rahi. Ana o tāna mahi, he puta mai i te āhaere i ngā tāngata kai roto i te raru i roto i te wai. Ana ka kite ana te rā tuna, he tuna pai. O e te heo tātou taniwha he tino taniwha kino. Tēnei nā he tino pai. Ka ki te ana, ara, kai te he kaitiaki, tau e tuna. No te pakanga tuarua ka ngaro te tunara, ka kore ki tea, a e ngaro nei. A e ngari koe rā tana kāinga, he rua, kai rua runga ke he te piriti tawhitora.
Tuna is important to me personally because it's been handed down through our whole tipuna, and it's a gift from God to me anyway, and it's been handed to our people, and that's what we've been living on for over 100 years.
Tuna is very important to me. I think it's a taonga. It got our people through very hard times, through very hard winters, through scorched earth policies. That's why I think tuna is important. That's why I think we should be saving them.
We have 4 species of tuna here, different types of tuna. We have the mata moi moi, which is a huge long-finned eels. We have the paiwai. We have the rimene, and we have the piro, the blind eel. Now the piro is the only eel that doesn't go out to sea to migrate, it's landlocked.
I'm pretty sure I would have been 3 months old when I first tasted it. My mother used to put tuna in her mouth and chew it and put the juices into my mouth as a baby. The tuna is also important to me because of the same importance that the river has.
We've grown up with tuna. We used to go and camp at the river and go rama tuna at night. It used to be such good fun. But it was a source of food, and we didn't have a lot of money back in the day, so we lived off the land. We didn't have shops to go to buy things like the mussels and the fish and whatever, like we can go to the Foursquare today.
He tino rekarawa te tuna kia hau. He tino paia hau ki te haere ki te awata tuku papa. He tino pai te tuna kia hau. Nā te mea ka pai tuku papa ki te
And we have certain ways of catching our tuna. We have the reti reti, we have the hinaki, we have the maunu, which is the bob, we have the mātira, which is a stick that has a bit of bait on it, and when the eel bite you just flick them out over the back of you. We have with the torch, rama tuna and whakarapu tuna. So those were some of the ways that we caught our tuna.
Rangitaiki was our playground, and we would camp out, we would go down with our torches and rama tuna. It was a good bringing together of whānau. And we did that up and down the Rangitaiki River. Like we had our own posies, and our neighbours, they had a posse, and then we would check each other out, how it's going at your end of the Rangitaiki. We would go right down past Karamuramu there and fish right along behind the doctors, right down to the lake. That became impossible after a while with the changes. With the course of the river changing over time, and so it became noticeable that our sources of kai were being depleted.
I remember this time we went fishing down the back. I think it might have been about 11. My brother would have been 6 and my cousin maybe 8. Okay, we headed down the back there with our handful of lines, our bag full of lines and hinaki. And as we got to the river, we noticed that all the trees had been ripped off the banks, and when we got to the river, we saw all of the old fishing holes were all gone, all the deep pools were all changed, and the river had been straightened out a little bit. When I went to turn around, I see my little brother there crying, sobbing on the bank. And and I started to cry, my cousin started to cry because I was crying, because my brother was crying about the river. And And I asked him what was wrong, and his answer was, oh, there's nowhere to set lines. To a 6-year-old, that's how you articulate that sort of thing. And, that's what the river meant to him. That's what the river means to my cousin. That's what it means to me. And, that's what it means to our people. To have a 6-year-old crying on the side of the river about the changes.
I've been on the river for 45 years, so I've been around the Tuna quite a bit and seen the decline in the big breeding eels. And I think it's because people are a bit naive, or not letting the big ones go so they can breed. And the other thing is because the dams are stopping them from going out to breed and stopping them from coming in.
Without the river, there is no tuna. Without the tuna, there is no river. Without both of those, Ngati Manawa as an iwi will be threatened. Other threats? There are lots of them. The hydro dams, land use, water quality, habitat, and a lot of those things in the past have been done for supposedly good reasons.
Back in the day, me growing up, we had rahui all along the rivers. Certain families had po stuck in the banks of the river, and when those po were there, when the rahui was put on those areas, everybody respected each other's areas. In those days, we were told growing up that you don't go into somebody else's area, otherwise there are consequences for venturing into other people's areas for tuna.
About tuna, I remember vividly, is that we always had tuna for our table, not only at home, but at huihuis, at our different marae. Always whānau who were able to contribute tuna to the kai, to the table. And we used to all do that. Someone had a mutton, another person had a beast, someone else had pork. Well, there were families
So to
that
me,
had
that's
tuna.
a big source of nourishment for our people, and it's been like that for over 100 years. So that's how passionate I am about our tuna, because I want it to be here for our mokos, our tuaruas. For another 100 years, that it should be there to feed all our people for the next 100 years, if we look after it properly.
I would like to see our own iwi and our own people manage our waterways, our fisheries, and everything that lives within the river.
And now we're at a stage where my aspiration is to set up a tuna farm so that Ngati Manawa can maintain its links to the longfin tuna, and that our future generations get to taste it like I did as a 10-month-old baby.
I'd like to see a rahui on commercial fishing on longfin. Shortfin, however, is okay. There's plenty of shortfin to go around, and maybe there's even a chance to create a commercial side for our own iwi and shortfin tuna. However, longfin, just because there's a huge decline in their numbers, especially the big breeding stock, I would like to see a rahui on that.
Okay, my aspirations in terms of the tuna is to bowl all the dams off the river and let the eel migrate, and either way, down to spawn and back up the rivers. So if we sort of keep that in mind, those are my aspirations for the eel, and as long as I'm living, I'll be trying to get those eel passes or some sort of way where the eel can go to have their young naturally, rather than all these huge structures put in place to stop their migration. We have a saying our Pakeke always used, ko au te tuna, ko te tuna ko au.